2K17. Now, if you've seen any of my earlier posts and streams, that I had a my player, and actually my PS4 conked out on me and basically was corrupted. So I brought it back to GameStop and got a new one, but I had to it killed all the data for that. So now I'm starting off a new my player. But since we have the experience and training with that, I can let y'all know how to better go about this. Now, this is my third collegiate game with my player, and he's actually a point guard. He's a beast. I had him last game. He had 10 assists. No, 11 assists, and I think 10 points. But he had 7 steals, and that was the thing. You see what I'm saying? So I want to see how high he got drafted, because my player got drafted 9th for the Raptors, or no, 9th or 11th with the Raptors, and I want to see if I can get him to at least in the top 3 picks. You know what I mean? You can crack that top 3. You know, you're doing something. I don't know. I've never seen it per se, because I never thought about it. But you know, now I thought about it. If anybody has had a my player that's been drafted #1 overall pick, please let me know. Drop it in the comments and in the chat or on the section below, and let me know. But really, man, woo, this dude is pretty tight. I haven't really. Oh, I can't write to me. Oh, first miss. I shouldn't have shot that. It's all right though. Yeah. Oh, turnover. Give me that back. Yeah, see. I messed up, but got it. Alright, so already, it's not even a minute, 45 into the game, and I got 3 steals, 4 points, and 1 assist. Now, let's see if I can hurry up and get these points out the way within the next, I only get to 10 points within the next 30 seconds. So that's 2 threes, basically. Now, I've equipped this player with the James Harden jump shot. Now, that's what was working on my last my player, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But they're different positions now, so that might affect the actual shooting. Oh, almost got, oh, that's our ball? Oh, it's their ball. But anyway, it might affect the actual shooting stroke. You know, they didn't, but I think I made this dude actually a little bit taller, and I made his frame a little bit stockier build, so a little bit stronger too. Oh, I thought it said Tiago Splitter for a second. I was like, he went to college? Oh man, but while I'm doing this, I'm actually gonna start playing some stuff I usually watch, like The Breakfast Club, stuff like that. So, you know, tune in. I'll be chiming in here and there, but I want you to, you know, get the vibe with me, man. Check out the sweet stylings of my player, because he's about to ball out. As soon as we get in the NBA, we got to put in work. Oh, come on. That was a foul. Pausing this for 1 second.
They'll lower the temperature. You're watching The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ MV Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are The Breakfast Club. Got some special guests hanging out with us today.
Yes, sir.
My brother from Queens, Meta World Peace.
He goes back to Queens more than you, though.
No, he doesn't. We go back about the same. And also, Brother Polite.
Yes, sir.
Good morning. What up?
Brother, like, tell the people who you are for those who don't know. We know Meta World Peace, but who are you for those who don't know?
Brother Polite, head of Crown Lustre Supreme Grand Apperception of our New Covenant community. I teach on comparative studies of monotheistic religions in retrospect to them being influenced by cultures of antiquity. I'm the author of 90-plus books, created my own language, and Susu, and presently a celebrity mentor, a screenwriter, as well as debater.
And you're one of Meta's mentors, right?
That's correct.
How long you been doing that?
Mentoring or general?
Mentoring, right? Yeah.
Meta, about going on 3 years now.
Okay.
Going on 3 years.
Now, Meta, you going back in the league this year? Are you playing?
I don't know. I mean, I can still play top 10 small forwards in the world, but it's a business, you know what I mean? And sometimes it's hard for me to get in because my past, it's hard for me to get in with different things. But when I play against these pros in the summertime, I'll be giving work. So I'm going to still play ball as a hoop in the court. I'm good.
What do you mean you're fast?
You know, I mean, sometimes it's hard to get in. There's teams that said, you know, we can't have a person like you know what I'm saying, in the city, which I respect.
Really?
So, I mean,
I would think after the big brawl and they let you back in,
That was over.
You was good after that.
That was over.
it's not like that bad,
Yeah.
but, and I'm getting older at the same time, but I can still play. Like last year when I got in the game, I did my thing, you know? But it's a business. It's not my business, so I don't really worry about if I can't play on somebody's team. I love the game, man. I played in the Watson Project yesterday. I played in Venice Beach. I play in the Watts Projects in LA, so I love to play basketball. That's it.
Would you play overseas?
You did.
I did. I did that one time. I experienced it, but my next, I want to go to play like Angola maybe next time.
Okay.
Because I played in Italy, I played in China.
And thanks for our Candace Friend shirts, by the way. I know you were inspired. Tell
I have
everybody
a lot of inspiration from Polite, you know what I'm saying? It's risky for me, you know, being in corporate America sometimes, to be, you know, associated with somebody that they are going to give a bad name. You know, Polite, he's very passionate, you know, and I see some of the things he talk about on TV, and when I watched him on YouTube, I reached out to him, to some of my people in Brooklyn. I got to meet this guy, very inspirational, and it's been none, but he changed my life a lot.
It's interesting with you because it's crazy as people say you are. You always seem like you're constantly growing and evolving. So why would you decide to take on a mentor 3 years ago?
Absolutely, because I want to keep becoming, you know, a better person.
Right.
You know, I want to just keep figuring out life. You know, and this guy right here is amazing. I heard a lot of comments on YouTube. People talking about he's racist and he's this, that. And he's just passionate. You know, he's very passionate about, you know, different issues. You know, and a very good dude. We got white friends. We be in, you know, me and Polite being in LA, and we got a lot of white friends. But he's very passionate. He's not gonna let things happen without saying anything. You understand? And he helped me evolve a lot.
What was it that made you decide that you needed to get a mentor, though? Like, what was it in his YouTubes that inspired you, and what made you say, you know what, I need somebody to help me?
Yeah, well, I got many mentors. I got different type of mentors, you know, whether it's business mentors, you know, it's Polite, he's a very smart businessman, and then just very spiritual, you know, is all about love and all about empowering and very smart, you know, and it's just an honor to be around somebody as intelligent as Polite.
Now, but like, why is it whenever a black man stands up and they're pro-black and they're trying to empower their people, the first thing they say is that you're racist?
I think because of the stigma of the history of America, whereby people are afraid of the balance that might be associated with liberation, because it almost seems like it has to run concurrent. You know, in order to be pro-black, it almost seems like we have to assert ourselves aggressively, because we don't have enough platforms that allow us to disseminate this type of information. This is a rarity, what y'all doing right here.
Gotcha.
And I commend y'all for what y'all doing.
Now, you know, we're at a very, seems like a very crucial time in our country right now. Like, as far as, like, first of all, you believe in voting? You think we should vote?
I believe in voting. My choice in voting would be for our people in particular to partake in municipal elections, which is to say local elections, because we're more effective. Because we look at the Electoral College and the popular vote, we have to come to terms that our vote is more effective voting people in locally, because they are more empowered to make a decision on the like for instance, if you look at Ferguson, Ferguson has a populace of about 70% black people, right? But because we don't engage in municipal elections, we find that the DA, prosecution, judges, only 5 police officers throughout the town. That comes about on account to the fact that we haven't been voting locally. So even though we may get upset and be at grievance for the fact that we have people that's not from our community enforcing policy, we also have to hold ourselves accountable as well and vote people in locally, so we can have a more proportionate scale of people that favor the community to enforce the policy.
So we're worried about Hillary Clinton versus Donald Trump right now, but we should also be worried about locally voting.
You gotta go in locally. That's where we're the most effective as far as on the community scale. You can't skip your community and go nationwide, because another thing we have to do, we have to pool our funds and see to it that we help people in their endeavor to campaign. Because when you don't help people get into office and then you lobby for their attention when something happens, their first obligation is to serve the people that got them into office. So we're not helping people go through school, we're not helping fund people's campaigns. It's kind of moot to expect them to respond to any social undertaking that takes place in our community. They should, technically, but realistically, in the game of politics, we have to be more assertive and have a more impactful type of clause that take more precedence in the actual strategy that's being employed by the person who will be put in a position of power.
Now, you talk about pooling your resources. Matter, how come NBA players don't take their money and put it more into the hood, like buying like black-owned grocery stores and things like that?
Because we're just not educated. If you look at the real estate business in New York City, look at all the opportunities that was presented, the boom in Long Island City. And then you get a guy like Metta World Peace, 19 years old, 1999, and I don't know about this boom. And not educated. My parents couldn't tell me in 95, hey son, there's going to be a real estate boom, right, coming up, because we're not educated. But now we're getting more and more intelligent, urban people such as yourself, polite, in the new collective bargaining agreement with the NBA, Chris Paul and those guys. We didn't have that with our parents growing up. So when I first got into the NBA at 19, I was in debt before I got my first check.
Damn.
I took out a $200,000 loan. So now that's $400,000, right? And then I took out a $200,000 advance. So my first 3 years, I was in debt. And if it wasn't for my next contract, I wouldn't have been straight. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't pay my first tax, on a check outside of the NBA until I was 23, because I didn't know nothing about it. And then when I was the first one offered the vitamin water deal. They offered me equity because he's from St. John's, from Queens. I did a lot of things in the community for vitamin water, so I was pushing vitamin water in Queensbridge and doing a lot of great things. So they said, hey, since you did me this favor, I want to offer you a deal. They said, we'll give you some equity. I'm like, equity? How's that? Give me the money. And you know what I'm saying? You understand? And then when I found a month later, the IPO, now I said, I got one equity. So
50 took the equity, you took the money.
You know what I'm saying?
Damn it, man.
I didn't take nothing. I didn't do it. Because I wanted the money. I'm like, well, I'm going to give you money. You know what I'm saying? But it's like that education.
Right.
So then I just had to push myself, to learn business. You understand? And so now, and that's the reason. There's a lot of guys like that, and we need to get back to these people. It's like people like yourself, myself, like.
And I think we also have a lot more information accessible to us now too. Really with the internet than we did, say, 10, 15 years ago. Because a lot of things I had to figure out how to do on my own was for me doing my own research. And it was easy information for me to find if you look for it.
Not only that, I think it's education too, because I'm sure growing up, you were probably the first person in your family to go to college.
Yes.
Because I was the same, and like you said, my pops didn't know nothing about investing. You worked 50 years of your life, you retire, and you live up your retirement. That's what it was. But my son has a big outreach, and it's great that you have a brother polite, and there's the NBA is what they're doing now, and they're trying to teach these athletes how to invest money and what to do with their money, because they don't have it. How they been doing it?
They just started. The NBA is doing amazing things now. They've been trying, but now the NBA is like amazing. They're really protecting that.
Something that is truly unique. And that right now is the blossoming career of
content. I'm not.
You know what?
Flash,
I'm just gonna say,
out bars and shit. I still do my thing on strip club.
this kid has it all. I don't want to get too deep into the cliche, so I'll just say that he's delivering each and every night.
I got homes, and
This kid is on a mission, folks. I spoke to him only once, and he told me that his father, who passed away when he was 14, still guides him to be great every
basically the precept that we're
Ridiculously
talking
good
about
at basketball.
is understanding.
Ladies and gentlemen,
We need
your
the time
president
to
of the Heart.
meditate, we need the time to pray, we need the time to read, we need the time to study. But our time is consumed by the material world. We are materially obligated to our car, materially obligated to our house, materially obligated to our phones. And in turn, it calcifies you, who you really are, because you're plagued by trying to own and sustain these physical assets. So in a capitalistic construct, we obtain our spiritual freedom through entrepreneurship. So we have to embark upon this task through a means of education. Like for instance, even buying real estate. We have pre-K to 12th grade. That's 14 years. No one teaches you anything about real estate. The school purportedly is preparing you for life, but you don't get no real estate classes. Then you have this thing called mortgage hypothecation and subprimes, where they do the analytics and anticipate what you can afford, and then in turn, because it's insured, the debts, they can actually insure your mortgage debt by way of what's called a mortgage-backed security, which is funded by people that's incarcerated. So it's easier for me to give you a loan if I know that the loan is insured. So with the subprime prices, what they'll do with a subprime is say, we know he can only afford about $150,000 home. So what we're going to do is work with him, get his credit up overnight if we have to, and approve him for a loan for like $200,000, $300,000. And we'll know he'll go into default probably 3 to 5 years into his acquisition of this particular property. You say, well, who's giving loans out that they know a person's going to go into default? Well, when a person gets incarcerated, they normally have to sign a bid bond, payment bond, and performance bond, which gets consolidated into what's called a mortgage-backed security. Okay. And the Corrections Corporation of America acts as a surety, which is like a form of insurance, and they pledge the labor of the prisoners and allocate the monies made from their debt to society from the privatized prison system into the companies that back the mortgages. So now that you know that the debt is going to be funded by prisons, you're going to see a direct correlation between foreclosures and incarcerations, right? Which is why they have to sustain a 9 out of 10 ratio to occupancy in the prisons in order for them to make their monies before the state goes into debt. So when we understand that they're leveraging the incarceration, right, mostly black men, leveraging the incarceration of black men working in the prison system to fulfill what's called the mortgage-backed security or pledges to pay back people's debt, then it's easier for you to say, well, we could just start approving people of loans that they can't afford, because after all, you could wait the 30-year fixed rate mortgage, right, to get your interest, or you could say, you know what, we could get paid quicker if we give them something they can't afford. You understand what I'm saying? And turn that in real time. So we find that the commercial banks don't have the capital to wait 30 years. So they're pretty much like the guy on the block pumping D, selling the dimes. And the private investment banks, they're the ones that's moving the weight. So the commercial banks like BOFA, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, and the rest of them, they're just servicing loans on behalf of the private investment bank. And they get enough people into debt, and they consolidate the debt, and they create a bond that represents the debt of her 100,000, your 200,000, your 400,000. It probably accumulates to probably $500 million. Then they go to the big drug dealer and say, yo, can I get PC? I just got you $500,000 in debt. They'll probably get 10% of that and get 50 million. Then they get the real capital. So understanding this puts us in a space where we understand more about mortgage hypothecation, what they call the item sonans, or what they also call conditional interest, which is when someone sells you property and you're under the presumption it's just them that's selling you the property, but in turn they have somebody else that's looking to benefit from the debt obligation without you knowing, and that's called a conditional interest. So when you go into the UCC code, UCC 9-105 in parentheses D, it lets you know that a debtor can only conditionally own property. So a lot of times people get property, and they give you the roses, and they give you the champagne, and say, congratulations, you got your new property. When we look on the deed, it still says tenancy deed. It's like you're a tenant of your own property, because you still don't own it because you bought it by way of a conditional interest. Anybody that's suffering from foreclosures, if you were to ask the person who sold you the property, the financial institution namely, they will have to let you know, what? We don't have the original mortgage note, which would slow down the foreclosure process. You still have to go to court, but it stops it because now we know they sold it under a condition which is illegal. You feel me? They're not supposed to sell you something under the pretense that it's just you and them doing the transaction. Unbeknown to you, there are people banking on your debt to make a profit. So everybody's making money off of your debt obligation with the exception of you.
Right.
We had Dr. Umar up here, and he was talking about how hard it was for black people to get small business loans. Why do you think that is?
Well, because it's a white supremacist structure, right? And when you're talking about getting business loans, they can't stop you. And this was the problem with a lot of people, because these things are done so covertly, you can't tell because there's layers of white supremacy. Okay, so even we could come out of a form of slavery, destitution, extreme poverty, and then when we transcend that level of poverty, the struggle to get from one level to the next will intimate that we're free, but we're actually in another condition of slavery, right? So when we talk about getting loans, it's not in our face cut and dry that this is racist, the system itself, but then they have things like credit card redlining, right? Where you can't deny a person of credit on account to their race, but you can ask what zip code they're from. And we know we can pretty much target a certain demographic based on the corresponding zip codes. So what they'll do is ask your zip code, and then what we don't know is called credit card redlining. They say, well, anybody that's in these particular zip codes, deny them of credit, or don't approve them of that much. So then you have to get hit to it. Like one thing that we do to get around that is you may get a UPS mailbox address because it's considered residential. And we'll say get the UPS mailbox address in a community where most people are average in the rankings of the 5%. The 5% is anybody that's making $150,000 or more a year that can afford to invest at least 1/3 of their money, which means they have the capabilities of growing wealth. So anybody in the 5% has the capability of growing wealth. So it'd be predetermined that they can be approved for a higher credit score, right? Or be approved for a higher loan. So you get that outside of those credit card redlining areas, and then it empowers you to be able to get loans. But the reason why that's even designed in the first place is to alienate certain demographics, particularly of ours, and whoever else they may want to target.
Was you getting this kind of financial advice before, Meta?
Not necessarily. You know, Polite is deep. You know, he's very empowering, like I said. You know, but I had a lot of great people around me, a lot of great managements. I had TriStar Management, great management, and they really taught me a lot. But I had to take it upon myself, you know, to learn, you know, different things.
You speak multiple languages. What's the language you said you made up?
Induasus means living language.
How do you just make a language?
From studying other languages, a lot of languages are built upon a principle like a trilateral root. So like you might have like in Arabic, you might have makom, right? Or you might have makan, right, which means place. And then in Hebrew you may have makom, which means place. And then in the Padic you may have makum, which means place. So the vowels change, right? But the trilateral root or the consonants are the same, M, K, and N. You feel me? So in a lot of these languages, like kitab or katub, means scripture or means book, you kind of pick up what they're saying. Now, people, because of probably religious reasons and their insecurities, they may not want to contend that there's a similitude to the different languages because they want to be exclusive in their own right. But a person that's just genuine and studying the languages, you can see how these languages springboarded from a source language. So once you kind of get an understanding of the trilateral root from Proto-Semitic languages, it becomes a lot more easier. But the reason why I created a language is because colonized, so you can tell who colonized the people based on the language that they speak. And if we're going to talk about free, one of the things we have to do is reintroduce ourselves to a new tongue, whether it be a tongue that is ancient that most people are not speaking of, or one that we just create from scratch so no one can tell us the right way to say it once we start learning. We need some kind of control because language transmission is deep. It impacts the way that our brain grows. And so they de-emphasize in the 1600s, the London Missionary Society de-emphasized language because they understand that their genes called the ASBM gene. When you speak tonal language, it actually helps the brain grow. So you'll see people have different sized craniums from different parts of the world that speak tonal languages. Tonal languages use sounds differently from like English. Like English has been de-emphasized, right? So you'll have, and when you learn English, you'll find that it's harder to study other languages. But people whose native tongue is tonal have an easier time learning other languages. That's not by coincidence. So like you look at the word Michael, right? CH is pronounced like a cup, right? But in an older time or older English, it's pronounced look at the word Quran. In English, we just pronounce the K and the Q the same exact way. But the Q is supposed to be pronounced like from the back of the throat, like when we make fun of the Africans, right? And exactly. So like that's a Q sound. K and Q don't sound alike. Why would someone create a language and make a K and a Q sound exactly alike? That's not true. It's because the tones have been de-emphasized. So like the word light, L-I-G-H-T, one of the ancient Hebrew letters that's not even in contemporary Hebrew, right? Proto-Semitic language phonetics shows us that GH is supposed to have a guttural sound and is let off by the constricting of the throat. So light should be that's a same sound that babies make, which is very important because when you make these sounds or you use the mouth palate, the uppermost part of the mouth, what it causes is your tonsils to vibrate, right? And it causes your appendix to vibrate, and that sets something off in the body that causes neurons to just explode, and then neurons shoot from one side of the brain to the next and connect dendrites, and it creates an information highway. And what you're doing is sewing the brain together. It's not big to be a genius. You just have to use the left cerebral hemisphere and the right cerebral hemisphere. You feel what I'm saying? So you'll find when you look all over the world, we drive on the left side. We use the left side of the wheel when we drive. Then you go on the other side of the wheel, you use the right side. The toilet bowl goes clockwise, and the other side counterclockwise. When we want to inspire people or make them spiritual, we communicate, we speak it, right? We do lectures, we chant, we say Jesus. But on the other side, they breathe and they meditate. Over here, people are obese. Over there, people are skinny, right? So what we find is the planet is on a 23.5-degree axis. So it's on a tilt. So you tend to use one eye more than the other, one leg more than the other. You need to one side more than the other. So to enhance your consciousness, you have to either travel or make a more concerted effort to exercise the other part of the brain. So the left side is math, science, language, and reading. The right side is music, art, emotions. Sometimes when people say no words can express what I feel, is because words is on the left side and feeling is on the right, and it didn't make a connection. And that's what consciousness is, holistic, which will make you a genius.
So how do you balance it out? Well, what are some of the exercises you could do?
Oh, balancing it out. One of the best things to do, because it's called a living language, is to eat live food or to take good herbs like cockatoo, sarsaparilla, chainy root, monkey ladder, greenback. These are herbs. Every taste corresponds with a healing modality. So what happens is cancer is high in our community because we don't eat bitter food. Bitter corresponds with anti-cancer agents. The more bitters you have, the least susceptible and prone you be to cancer. We're talking about being alive. Being alive is predicated upon having a megahertz frequency of 72 to 90 via the brain. If the brain is powered at 72 to 90 megahertz, scientific fact, by Dr. Taino, who scaled frequencies of the human body in 1992. So you can look it up as a source, but he's not the only source. 72 to 90 megahertz causes the body to be healthy, right? Scientific death, which a lot of people walk around here scientifically dead, starts at 25 megahertz. Cancer starts at 42 megahertz. Disease in general starts at 58 megahertz. Candida is 55 megahertz. The person has cancer, they're on a 42 megahertz frequency. Geniuses vibrate at 80 megahertz upward. Health in general is 72 to 90. So what we're talking about here is keeping the body alive. But we have to eat the right foods that invoke a higher frequency of thought. If we don't have a higher frequency, then there we go. We're closer and closer to death. So you can actually be walking around here scientifically dead. Even though your eyes are open and your lips are moving, we have to make sure that we eat foods that sustain at least the standard of living, which is 72. But the ideal is to try to get to 80 plus. But even the music throws us off a little because that's a part of frequency. And when we go back to our cultures of antiquity, our music was natural. So like even if we use the drum, we was employing two different sciences. Botany, right, which is the plant kingdom, the bark of the drum, and then zoology, which is the skin of the drum. So we was in tune and in conformity with nature. You feel what I'm saying? The music used to be at middle C. Now it's at A, which means it's speeding up. So it's actually causing advanced glycation in, which is an acronym for age, which means we're getting older by listening to the music. This is why they don't want women that's pregnant or conceiving to stand in front of a microwave. Why? Because food is being heated up by what? Where it's sound waves. They use sound waves to heat up the food. And if you stand in front of those sound waves while you're conceiving, it destroys the child. But what if you're not conceiving a child? Then you're destroying yourself, right? So if the music is speeding up and you're wearing headphones and it's turned on at high intervals and it's not moving at middle C but it's at A, we're going to get thrown off, but a lot of us don't read music no more.
Is that like radiation?
That's exactly what it is. And then the frequency, the radiation is a form of frequency. So the radiation being precipitated is around candida, towards candida and cancer. The music, when we have it speeding up like that, we're actually on a candida cancer frequency, and it's on the rise in the community, but we're not listening to natural sounds.
Now let me ask you guys a question. Recently Michael Jordan posted and donated $2 million, right, all because of the police brutality that's been happening. He opened up a little bit about himself and his family history. How much of a responsibility do you think that celebrities and athletes have to speak out, donate money, and give their time to causes and speak out against police brutality?
I think they have a tremendous responsibility, but they definitely need mentors. Because when me as a conscious advisor, which is the euphemism I choose, but celebrity mentor is just as good, when they brown nose and they kissing some white man's behind, you feel me? When in fact they just worked. But we understand it's still slavery, because in slavery times, right, this is transgenerational behavior. The slave could only get their food, clothing, and shelter from who? Their master. So when people are on the slave frequency of thought, they can only conceptualize that a black man or a black woman got successful because the white man gave them food, clothing, and shelter, because they don't know nothing outside of that particular auspice of thought. You feel what I'm saying? So it's a slave state of mind to assume that someone had to do something to compromise their moral integrity to get material success or gain. But back to the question, the reason why we would need celebrity mentors or conscious advisors is because we can build a better bond between the two communities. And as being a celebrity mentor, my job is to add educational components to people's brains so they can understand what would be a more worthwhile, substantive type of investment or donation. I'm not one to tell people what to do with their money. So when Michael Jordan gave $1 million, I know it's pretty political. I don't want to be seen too pro-black, so let me make sure I give police money. But what we gotta understand is when you have mentors in place that's studying these types of things, then you can say the police department doesn't need no more money. And I understand as brothers and sisters, we use a strategy, so by saying let's give the police something, so they understand that we're not trying to go against the system, and we're also probably not trying to hurt our brand by exclusively identifying with the black cause over black. But we got to take into consideration, like for instance, Laquan McDonald. He's a brother that was shot about 16 or 17 times. Laquan McDonald. His family was paid $5.9 million by Chicago to hush them, to make sure they don't speak about police brutality, to make sure they don't speak about him being slain. And what they did, that settlement, that was part of the stipulation of the settlement. So civil suits circumvent that actual indictment because came down Freddie Gray, whose family got about 6.8, I think it was. Yeah, so they get silent. So while we out here, we protesting, we risking our lives, it gets out of control, people getting locked up, we turned up, we steal the toilet paper, break the glass, you know, we doing all sorts of craziness. And meanwhile, somebody's told, don't say nothing. And then you're actually, if you're on our side of things, when you're actually being proactive, the families will reach out to you and tell you, we don't want that, please stop talking. When you're on my side of things, you get told, don't do that, please, if you love us, don't say nothing. So after a while, we're like, yo, we gotta do the research on this. So we find places like Chicago has used over $500 million since 2004 in hush money, settlement money. And even worse, we have to look at it like, okay, the families are poor, that's being exploited. The funds is not coming out of the police department, which they should. The funds is not coming out of the recompense or the check from the guilty officers. No. These funds is coming from the resources that's supposed to be used by or for the community, for their playgrounds, for their schools. Okay, and then insurance companies are making money because the police department borrows from them and pays it off in like 30 years, as long as like we're real estate, we're property. You understand what I'm saying? So if it came from police, then they'd probably be less likely to murder us at the rate that they're doing because they have to come out of their pocket. But it's not coming out of the police officers' checks, nor is it coming out of their budgets. So the reason why I'm opposed to basketball players giving monies to the police departments, the police departments haven't even access to monies that they need to put into the community that they're murdering. But the gesture is not. So I don't disrespect, which is the route most conscious people might go. I don't disrespect brothers and sisters who use their monies in an endeavor to do something positive. We just have to raise the cognition of people politically so they can make more politically sound decisions, because we're funding the people that's not even using the funds that they need to remedy the situation. So the $1 million probably wouldn't have no purpose either, that might be.
So
responsive when this reason for stimulus. Meaning when you see all these people out your house that's chanting Black Power and let's get up, it's time to wake up, people like realize, oh man, that's like their coffee, right? But under normal circumstances, they may be reluctant to be part of anything. Sometimes you actually need someone to catch a body.
And also, you have to be protesting and knowing what you're asking for. You don't just protest. You have to have certain things that you know you want to get out of it.
This is correct. So that's why protesting is great. And the purpose is to mobilize, and that is to say to organize people to come to service, much like they would do in the military. If you just go out there and speak, and it's being publicized before national media, that's good, depending on the message. So there's nothing wrong with rallying. There's nothing wrong with protesting. Where we lose at a lot of times is the follow-up. Like we've been having follow-up meetings in Ohio. I didn't have a branch of my community in Ohio until I last came from there about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. Because if you don't do the follow-up, what you're doing is killing the future of organizing. Because the people that participated in the inception of that movement, they will say, well, they came into town and we didn't see them again until someone got killed. So you got to keep the follow-up going. That's the only cliche or the only bad part about protesting, that the organizers are not going to be consistent after the excitement. You got to keep that going.
That's one thing we don't do after vote. We vote somebody in and then we fall back. We got to stay
No
on
pressure.
them.
That's right.
That they said they were going to do while they was running.
That's a fact.
You know, I got a lot of flack for this, and I say this all the time. I feel like, especially in our community, we don't know what to do. So there's nobody necessarily to follow. Like, you know, like we talk about financial knowledge. You know, I didn't know who to follow, so I made my own mistakes. Like my son will know who to follow because I teach him financial knowledge, give him financial knowledge.
Makes
But
sense.
even with our community, it's like, who are the young leaders that we follow? Like, you know, you say, okay, this happened. Now what do we do? Everybody's mad. Everybody's saying, oh my God, F this, F that. But now, who is the person that we say, okay, well, he's gonna take us to the promised land, or who's gonna take us to where we need to go? You
Like
know?
we got OGs, of course, like the Minister Farrakhan, Elijah Muhammad, Malcolm X, they've all laid the points. That's the follow.
And that's what's essential. And we in a beautiful day and time where we have our own media. So we have like different media platforms, like my brother Rich, Black Magic 363, Noble Edge, definitely brother Sinetta, Sinetta TV, Black News 102. These are very important outlets. The Breakfast Club, which is extremely powerful. You know, people were like celebrating, like, yo, Black gonna be there. I'm like, I didn't even know it was that deep. I knew y'all was deep, but I didn't know how important it was for people to get the message out. Sometimes you think people don't care if you see the ignorance more than you see the support for consciousness, right? So the new age, there's a disconnect between the older generation and the younger generation. I get a lot of flack because I'm pro-Black. I think I'm pro-Black as it is. My children are born in the house. You feel me? My children are homeschooled. Okay?
You take to the hospital and none of that?
But I'm not extreme. So if it was necessary, I would, but it hasn't been necessary. You know, one of the things, I mean, we gotta look at the hospital, just to detour a little bit. They'll have would you lay down to defecate? Like, you had to use the bathroom, and you get closer and closer to your house, and you're like, man, it's starting to really come out. Would you then go to the toilet and lay down to try to make it come out? No, you wouldn't. You would squat. That's kind of like what we do when we're on the toilet. But now, here's a woman that's supposed to give birth to a child in the medical institution, where all these people with certificates are going to turn around and tell that woman to lay down, to go against gravity and compromise the integrity of her spine. All right, and then want to induce labor. All right, and give her epidurals. And if the child's born inside of 30, 45 minutes from the time that child comes out, the eyes closed, the baby's perfectly normal, the child is drug done. That's crazy. But we go to Egypt, like I went to Egypt, and I went to the world's first hospital, the Temple of Philae. You see all over the walls, the women squat and do not go against gravity. But they were the ones that's considered to be incompetent. But today in contemporary science, we got women still laying down. And even the placenta, because I delivered my daughters. I didn't cut the placenta when the baby came out. We let the afterbirth come out. And we let the placenta continuously contract so the rest of the stem cells can get to the child, which would diffuse the potentiality of the child actually getting sick. And it heightens that child's consciousness. Absolute fact. My daughter was 4 years old speaking 4 languages. My So, but we cut it the second the child is born. And if we were to go to the hospital right now and say, I would like to keep the afterbirth, they would give us hell. We would have to sign all sorts of applications and everything just to have entitlement to something that comes out of that woman's body. We would actually sign off papers if we had to go to the hospital for people that tell, make sure you get your placenta, make sure you get your afterbirth. They will give you hell to do that. Why? Because it has so much DNA and so much of those stem cells that's used to treat people that come from a different demographic, who have more genetic implications, right? And they use us as the fountain of youth. It's no different from Henrietta Lacks, the oldest woman on planet Earth. They've been still using her cells from the time she was alive, decades ago. Okay, Henrietta Lacks. They use her cells to create the remedy and the cures for several of the diseases that we are subject to today as a black woman. And we look her up and we'll see they've been using her DNA from the time that she died without the permission of her family to cure people of other races. Henrietta Lacks. You can look it up. So the reason why I don't take my children to the hospital, the reason why I suggest, we have doulas and midwives. Do it at home. It's because, for one, you don't want to be exploited genetically and financially. Because anything that has a certificate on it, like a birth certificate, has a QSIP. And a QSIP is a Committee on Uniform Securities Identification Procedure. And the key word is security. And the security is a paper certificate that attests to ownership and equity, as in the case of a stock or ownership of a bond, as in the case of a debt obligation, which has tradable derivatives, which means it can be sold in the stock market. So all this merely means if you have a death certificate, you have a birth certificate, you have a marriage certificate, somebody is making money. There's already been a promissory note. There's already a promise of what this person is going to make. And your failures cost money. Your failures make people money. Like if you get married and you have over $15,000, $20,000 in back taxes due, they won't allow you to get a divorce. Now, what part of your marriage said that in a contract? You feel me? That means the state is making some money off the situation. So that man could be abusing you. You could be on the verge of dying in that relationship. You ain't gonna get that divorce if you owe too much property taxes. You didn't know that when you married him, that was part of the implication, but it has a QSIP on it, a Committee on Uniform Securities Identification Procedure. The word security intimates that there's a debt obligation. So you can't be brought into this world without someone monetizing it. You can't die without someone monetizing it. You can't get together without someone monetizing it. Because we go into the legal context of law, we'll see that the word minority means what? An adult that thinks in an adolescent state of mind that needs a third-party medium to help them facilitate. Under normal circumstances, they wouldn't. So you are acting in your minority. There's a dichotomy to the words that we use. So we may use the word minority and think that it loses a percentage. But when we're dealing with law, we see the word minority means that you're an adult that can't make decisions on your own. So you need someone to marry you. You need someone to send you to Allah or to God or to Jehovah or Yahweh Shai or Yeshua. You need somebody to bring you into this world because you can't do it yourself because you're too incompetent. So for that reason, in addition to the health implications, a child being in the womb of a mother for 9 months, darkness, then to be subject to lights that do not biologically embed. Some light grants us intelligence and it communicates higher thoughts and frequency to us, which empowers the body to be able to facilitate in ways that is most conducive and progressive for the human body. But to bring a child out of darkness for 9 months, conception, and a woman has to go through 3 perfect ovulations for it to even be able to conceive. So 3 months inception, 9 months conception, 12 months totality. That child is born from darkness, subject to all these bright hospital lights. That's you know how you feel when you're in a dark house for a long period of time and then you go out and the sun is there, you get this headache. Imagine how the child feels when the child is born after being submerged in the darkness of the child, of the mother's womb, only to come out to these bright lights and to be held by someone that's not even a father, someone that can the child, but to a stranger. And then this woman cannot keep her child long enough because she got to go in between, she got to go back to work, right? So that psychologically plagues that child because that child's not ready to let go of their mother, but she has to go back to work. So we have to work harder to get our women off the clock because 6 months is not enough time for someone that stayed in the womb for 9 months and 3 months ovulation. Because when a woman is born, she's born with all the okay cells she'll ever have. So when a woman is born, she's born with all the children she will potentially have. And she is a summation of all the stress incurred, all the damage and all the affliction that she may have had to endure. Our children are a summation of everything she experienced from the time she came into this world, which is why we teach that the black woman is God and we got to protect and honor her. We don't mean it that she created every single thing here. We mean she's a part of everything. That is outside. So we got to respect our women. We got to understand whatever we do to her afflicts our children more than even we can see.
That's for the younger brother, okay? You, okay? I'm not black.
How you pull that up?
We say love is law, family is business. And of course, people will say that it's pimping because
All right, it's time to play for the title.
we find the
Let's
closest
go.
reference point to whatever it is we're trying to understand. Right? So with a lack of knowledge, the first thing we do is that's kind of like pimping. No, pimping is a perversion of what's in us genetically. Okay, it's just a perversion of the same. So we say love is law, family is business. All the words that we look at that women particularly want in a relationship is there's a dichotomy to it, and if we lean towards the business aspect, by default we'll get into the emotional clause. So when we say love is law, family is business, like for instance, in law, a friend is one who's willing to invest in you and one you're willing to invest in. So we start off as friends. But remember, love is law, family is business. The people that rule the world, Illuminati, whoever you want to call them, we know that they're all tied in by blood. Bankers, we call them. But we know they're all tied in by blood. They're families. So now we have to start doing the same thing. When people are at war, it is imperative that the women can be able to cleave on to another family. I don't suggest every brother do this. You got to be able to have a monogamous and successful relationship before you even think about having two-fold, three-fold, four-fold relationship. So let's just start it on a monogamous level. Love is law, family is business. A friend is one who's willing to invest in you or one you're willing to invest in. Friend. Then the woman wants what? She wants a sense of security, right? And we went over what security is. But the security is a paper certificate that attests to ownership and equity. Ownership of what? Well, the man and the woman should go into business with each other. So let's say they purchase a property. So they set up a trust. She wants trust too. We're going to just do the business part first, and we're going to see how it precipitates the emotional context of the same, because of the dichotomy to the words. There's the emotional part, and there's the business part. So she wants a trust. So trust is when property is held on behalf of another so that someone else can benefit. Maybe the children be the beneficiaries of the trust. And the security is going to identify the equity as it relates to the contract. And now we have a bond. And the bond is what? A debt obligation. So now I'm going to have shares. We're going to say we're going to split this my 50-50 down the line. You feel what I'm saying? So now we got bonding, we got sharing, we got a sense of security, we got trust, and we got friendship. When we buy this property, let's say we get some tenants and we start renting it out. When you make money off of something that you invested in, it appreciates. So now she got appreciation. She wants a sense of appreciation. And then you got what? Consideration. Consideration is when two parties identify an asset and decide to go into business with each other.
Oh, he blew that. Oh, my goodness.
Reciprocity is going to take place, or that it's going to be a venture that's going to be mutually beneficial to both of them. In law, that's called consideration. So we got consideration, we got appreciation, we got trust, we got security, we got bonding, we got sharing, and we got friendship.
Let's go.
If we were to start our relationships off with that, when we making money together and we doing good together, the love aspect, the emotional aspect of those things would be good. So even though I'm polygynous, if we just use this model to erect a good business called family, we would be in a better position, because I believe the reason why our relationships are not that consistent is because we're plagued financially. And then eventually the woman may have become a financial slave to the man. So when she breaks up, she has absolutely nothing. And he has whatever he has, even if it's a little, he has a little bit more. Because she might have sacrificed so much just to get with the brother. And now she's become an economic slave. So now she's going to use the system and say, well, I got no other choice. What I'm supposed to do, I'm supposed to die here and just be pro-black and just allow you to do your thing? No, she's going to use the system. He's going to be abused by the system, because the system's going to say this is an opportunity to not only diminish his funds, but we're going to make sure you only have $35 left in your check. We're not even going to be sensible. And we're going to give you child support, but child support is not going to be inclusive of you being able to teach your child how to ride a bike or how to read or get
Let's
hugs.
go.
We don't need that. We just need you to give money to your child. So what this does is create a conflict in this man's mind, like, man, these black women, I'm going to make sure I don't give her my real name. When I have sex with her, I ain't going to give her my real name, I'm going to give her my real address, I ain't going to do none of that, because my man's had to fly back to Jamaica before his passport got revoked. My other man can't drive because of child support. So people are overwhelmed. We're being exploited because of our inability to execute financially. Somebody's getting a percentage off all that child support. And they're benefiting from the gender-specific war that will be waged, because you can't blame the black man for being mad at her because he's being treated unfairly. Like, there's no law saying, you know what, Ma, you can get child support, but after one child, you can't get child support. That'd be dope. No, you can have any amount of babies with any amount of men, and you're still going to be entitled to child support. These are people that create rocket ships that probably go to other planets. You should be wise enough to know that the system can be abused and manipulated. We're from New York. When a brother learns how to bend the Metro card and swipe people through for free, eventually you see federal offense. If we catch your ass swiping somebody, you're going to be fine. I think they can see that the child support thing is being manipulated.
Oh, got crossed. I got crossed.
They want the
I got crossed, everybody.
And of course, I'm not against child support, unfortunately.
But I still stole that.
Because I just wish we could control it a little bit more. But you have
This nigga ain't even cut to the basket for the alley. So I just should have just laid it up.
It's hell,
That's not
but
my
what can we
percentage.
do to nullify that?
by raising our financial cognition in the community and treating our families more like business, meaning if that man doesn't come in with something that can be held in trust, so if y'all should part, you don't feel like you got the butt of the joke, like you have absolutely nothing as a woman. You already have dowry from the jump when y'all say, look, we're serious. I need to know that I got something before you. If you love me that much, make sure in the event that I have a child with you or I contribute that much to your life, emotionally or what have you, that you still have something
What
that I
you?
need. If the
Oh
man
my
behaves
goodness.
like that, I believe that's a potential remedy for some of the strife and the response that we get that's very aggressive from women. So we just got to teach more financially how to maintain and sustain a relationship, and I believe it'll get rid of a lot of our problems. But definitely multiple wives. It's in me. I don't want to cheat and I don't want to lie to you. I don't.
How many wives do you have?
I have 4. I'm polygamous in a de facto sense.
I don't even know what that means, but that sounds amazing.
You don't recommend that everybody can do that.
I definitely wouldn't. I don't recommend it because we don't want to bastardize. I mean, we're already creating enough people void of father in the household. So I wouldn't want someone to irresponsibly do it because I know a lot of, I know a bunch of single women who have more children than I have as a polygamous man with 4 wives. You know, there's plenty of women out there. Huh?
How many kids do you have?
I got 3 girls. You feel me? And I know plenty of women with more than 3 children. But that don't mean there's something wrong with them. You're not going to go back to the TLC song and all that. But I'm just saying, it is what it is. I'm disciplined. I'm sexually disciplined. I never want to see poverty again. I cringe at the thought that I won't be able to give my children what I need. I'm a man my father left us at the age of 8. My mom, I met her when I turned 17. She died the week that I met her. I spent most of my life in juvenile detention facilities, Rikers Island, prison, and shelters. In between that, I was sneaking the shower in my friend's house, and the mother would see smoke on the mirror after I say, "Can I use the bathroom?" She's like, "What kind of showers in someone's house when they actually use the bathroom?" And I was treated, you know what I'm saying? And I'm treated like a criminal that had no home. Now, poverty has traumatized me. So even when people see me, and this goes back to the other question, the leaders for today, I'm different in as far as the fact that though I'm pro-black, I still understand that me buying material things is a form of my therapy. So they say you're pro-black, why you wear Versace? I contribute way more to the black community through thought and through money. And that's just a fact. You feel what I'm saying?
You still want to feel good.
But for me, as therapy, if you don't burn out your desires burn you out. So no one has the right to tell me what my dreams are. Like everybody's dream when you get conscious is supposed to be, I just like Frank and Murr, dashikis and globs of shea butter. That's like your entrance into consciousness, right? But I tried that. I didn't feel comfortable. You know why? Because when I was a young man, I always wanted that nice car. I caught me a Rolls Royce. It's a $300,000 car. They say, brother, that could have went to a school. Brother, that could have went to this, that, and the third. Well, I contribute to a lot of things. But guess what? When I was a young man, I always wanted it. So what I'm doing, they say is materialistic, but to me, I'm materializing my conceptions. That's actually magic. To have something in your mind that only you can conceive. And many people don't even think that you can get it in the first place. And then one day you're actually living in the presence of that thought. That's magic. That's manifestation. We're either going to deal with manifesting or man-infestation. It's going to be one of the two. If you don't manifest your thoughts, it's going to be man-infestation. You're going to become a burden to yourself and a burden to other people because you'll be depressed if you never accomplish things that you want. So for me, I burnt that out. Now I don't need the big expensive car. You know why? Because I always wanted it when I was young. I got involved in the acquisition of it. Now I burnt it out. It don't mean a lot to me. Everybody doesn't have the same desires. My desires were very materialistic. I'm a young man from Brooklyn, Brownsville. I wanted nice cars, lots of money. I did a picture on Instagram showing me with $100,000. And people are like, yo, that's wrong. But I'm motivating the people that I know think like I think at that age. Because when I was younger, that was my barometer for success. To see a man have that much money was a barometer for success. Oh, he's successful. When we look at it, we tend to make righteousness synonymous with poverty and consciousness equal to the devil, right? If you're making money, you of the devil. If you're conscious, it's okay to be broke. You feel me? I don't like that concept. So I know I'm speaking to my generation.
It's like putting the medicine in the candy. They'll see you like that, and they'll be like, "Who's this brother polite guy?" And they'll pay
The
attention.
same with law.
Yeah.
But when I teach, I'm in my cultural regalia. I have my own brand. These are my clothes. These are my headdresses. We make them. I have my own publishing company. I've written over 90 plus books. I publish my own books. I've also write books for other people. I helped Meta put out children books selling overseas. You feel me? And we got some other book projects coming out. I'm working with a book with Tori Hart, okay, about her breakup with Kevin Hart. Okay, I'm working with her on that as well. You know, 'cause that's what I also do, ghostwriting. You know, and so it's just being able to diversify our portfolio. We say we want to reach out to people. So I connect with Sister Delicious, or I connect with Sister Lena. And yeah, they may be video vixens, and they may show their ass and all this other stuff. But I thought these are the people we supposed to connect with. Then when I connect with these people, I get condemned, I get chastised. It's like they only want you to teach people that's already in the know. You feel what I'm saying? And then when you get around the people who may not necessarily be in the know, but have tremendous following, then you get condemned. So you want celebrities to be conscious, but you don't want the conscious man to become a celebrity.
That's not the point of a messenger. A messenger is supposed to teach everybody.
Teaching everybody.
Without judgment.
Yeah.
Without judgment.
Now I can't go like 4 or 5 days ago. I was in Puffy crib. He invited us over. Ty Dolla's there, Usher's there, his children jumping all over the place. You know what I'm saying? And we chilling, right? I can't be the only in there with the shea butter and, you know, the pick in my head. You know, I'm gonna stand out. There's nothing wrong with it, right? But I mean, like, it's gonna be weird. The defense mechanism's gonna come like, yo, why the brother don't sense his environment? You feel what I'm saying? Before I got here, broke day in the studio with King Los. Probably the dopest lyricist ever.
Look at my guy King Los.
Yeah, King Los is dope. You know, I'm in there with King Los and what's the brother Kid In, right? And we there at the breaking day. Omarion's adjacent to us recording something. I can't go in there. Just, you know, with a certain frequency of thought. We invite people to the information, time and place for these things. I don't have to forcibly impose the fact that I'm smart or I'm in the know of something to people who may also be smart in different capacities at different things that they do. This is what I do. And in order for me to share it, I want to keep you comfortable. I want to walk in and be amongst y'all like you to build with you. You feel me? So a lot of people don't even know I got a shrine in my crib. You know, I meditate, I do all sorts of stuff. But your wardrobe is just that. This is the garment that you wear when you go on the war. I'm at war right now. You feel what I'm saying? So sometimes I have to, just like when the military, they have you wear camouflage to do what you got to do. This is my camouflage. When I got to teach the people, sometimes I do this, depending on the demographic I'm reaching out to. Then there's other times I wear something else, depending on the demographic I'm reaching out to. Because ultimately, there's a psycho-demographic. There's a frequency that a group of people cluster in, and they're responsive to what they see before they hear. You feel what I'm saying? We got to, companies such as like fast food companies, they'll turn around and they'll say, okay, when you combine red and yellow together, it stimulates hunger. It makes people believe that they're hungry when you put red and yellow together. So when you look at fast food restaurants, the billions of dollars that's put into marketing is because the stuff works. You feel what I'm saying? So we also have to employ the same strategy if we want people to respond to the things that we're saying. We got to understand it transcends talent. Just like music. You know, there's a lot of talentless people that's out there, right? But the marketing behind some of these talentless people is just phenomenal, right? And no matter how much talent another brother or sister will have, they will never be as successful until they get the other components of the business right. You feel what I'm saying? So it's the same thing with this information. We got to have leadership that's not afraid to be mocked or ridiculed in their inception of communicating with the people. Because right now, I don't think anybody that's in the conscious community is moving the way exactly they're not moving. Like the circles that I'm in. I mean, you can name the number one female athlete, number one male athlete. It doesn't matter. You'll see Polite right there. That's because I got a different vision, and I'm supposed to do what I do. Everybody has their route and what they're supposed to do. I know what I'm supposed to do. Once you know what you're supposed to do, it's a wrap.
So where can they find you, Brother Polite?
IamBrotherPolite.com. Also, download the app if you want to get access to anything I'm doing. So it's a Brother Polite app. We got a real estate game that's going to be on there. That's just amazing. But I just wanted to grow as we go, so you can just download Brother Polite. That's the app. It works. It's real fun. And then you can go to my email, Brother Polite, POLIGHT. It's an acronym: Pride, Optimism, Love, Integrity, Talent.
Oh, top 3 pick, y'all. We are a top 3 projection.
The app will get you access to my I Am Brother Polite website, my I Am Brother Polite YouTube. And again, I just want to thank brothers like Sarnetta again, Black News 102, because his platform is amazing, and I was able to catalyze the experience of using his platform to reach out to other people, such as also my brothers from Know the Ledge and Black News 363. Those are brothers that I've been working with me for a long period of time.
Think about it. Just yesterday, you were doing biology.
That's right. You didn't believe I could get it done.
I feel so bad about that, but you
it's a risk in some factors, you know, and I know that y'all know after this Why don't they get involved in the shit? Where's that? So I just think y'all, man, DJMB, y'all, you know, I understand what it is, I understand what you're doing, I don't want to talk about what exactly you're doing, because that's almost like dry snitching. That's about it all. Keep it where it's at. Keep it where it's at. You already know. My man,
See that?
It was a movie I started. The next day I was speaking in front of a sobriety group. But that's what I did.
So where do they have you now? Oh man, I can't even keep track of you.
How you don't give a shit about
Well,
the
look,
the next day?
I did my
Talking
part.
to a bunch of
I was getting you
white
over
people.
all.
And everybody,
Don't
most of the
forget
white
me
people
like
that
I
was
did
there,
before.
they died before. You know,
Grant
I like to get
is
back.
solely
Like
responsible for my
I like to do
basketball.
the things that I mentioned that, but
Wait a minute, I won't even have to do all that.
the
You
start,
know,
the
we,
hood was out.
take it, bud. I'll probably be in Europe soon. Whoa, Europe, man. Look, I can't see that there's possibly 30 guards in the NBA who are better than this. Maybe not, man, but we'll see how it goes. No, I'm serious. Fred, don't worry about me, alright? What we got, man? Sometime you want to log on the stick, a little game until I'll be there. But no, seriously. I'm good. I'm happy.
he's amazing. I was shooting the movie a couple weeks ago. He was very positive.
It's time to go to the draft. Time to go to the draft.
And also, my sis Victoria just signed for the year. She's amazing. She inspired me.
Yeah, I guess this is
Disabled.
Fred. Who is this?
Being able to walk and be able to talk. She had to learn how to talk, learn how to walk. Me, parents were
Who did you say?
a dog and a
Hello?
suitcase. And now
Hello?
she's singing.
Is this Prez?
Yeah,
this is Prez. Is this Coach K?
Yeah, it is. I'm sure you're wondering why I'm calling.
Yeah. It's not that often that you get a call out of the blue from someone like you. So yeah.
Well, I've got a very good reason for calling, I can assure you. On behalf of USA Basketball, I'd like to officially invite you to be a part of our team.
Yeah, that's great. Wow. Yes. Amazing.
Team USA, go destroy the world. Yes, I'll do that.
Wow, Coach.
Let's go do that. Let's. Coach,
I
I can't believe it.
Does that mean you accept?
100%.
You know I accept.
That's amazing.
Oh, I didn't mean to exit that time. No. What I was doing was going back and forth for cutting up the cutscene so you can get through it faster. See, hopefully they don't forget I'm the number one top 3. I'm a top 3 pick, y'all. I ain't never been top 3 pick. I'm gonna see how this goes because my mom player is exceptional.
Hello?
Should I just do it again? Don't laugh, y'all. That ain't funny. That ain't even funny. My bad. My bad. My bad. My bad. Let's try this again. Ah.
Hello?
Hello. Is this Prez?
Yeah, this is Prez. Is this Coach K?
Yeah, it is. I'm sure you're wondering why I'm calling.
Yeah.
Well, I've got a very good reason for calling. I can assure
Yeah, that's great.
you were absolutely terrific this season in comp.
Wow, Coach, that is an unbelievable offer.
Does that mean you accept?
100%. Yeah,
That's amazing. We'll get you some additional detail.
All right, thanks, Coach.
See you this summer, Fred.
Alright, finally through that cutscene. Longest cutscene ever. I could have just let it play the way I kept messing that up, but hey, y'all understand. play Australia. I'm on Team USA. Yes, I'm sweet. Everybody knows it. Yes. Kyrie Irving, everybody else. They ain't as sweet as me. The baddest member jumper in the land. I'm a top 3 guard. Somebody get the rebound. Put me in the game. 2:43 left on the clock. Who am I? The 7th man? He don't even pass me the ball. What a name, Paul? Pass me the ball. Paul ain't pass me the ball. I do. Is that a block in the corner? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. He lost his complete imagination, 'cause he thought he can shoot over my presidential nation. Got him. Oh, 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 oh. That was the mean person I wanted to pass to. Pass back to you, Bello. Oh. Oh, I blew it. I blew the J. Oh my goodness. I feel some type of way about that, people. I'm not gonna blow an open J like that. I ain't got no points. It's the first half. Oh yeah, they do halves. Team USA play. No quarters. No quarter. We take no quarter. They play no D. Okay. Bow. Five me the there you go. Five me the bow bow. Five me the bow bow. Five me the bow bow. Oh, we crossing. Ooh, my bow. My bow. Woohoo, way we bow. And like the flowers. All my diamonds gloss. Oh shit. Stole the ball right out my